In the wake of 9/11, America was paranoid, anxious, and on edge. Airports were tightening security. Families were still grieving. And yet, just 4 months later, a 15-year-old boy walked into a Florida airport, stole a plane, and crashed it into a building. No passengers. No survivors. No major headlines. This is the story of Charles Bishop, the forgotten teenage pilot who brought terror back to the skies. Charles Bishop was a quiet, intelligent teen from Palm Harbor, Florida. Obsessed with aviation, he enrolled in flying lessons at a young age. His instructors said he was focused, even gifted. But what no one knew was that Charles had been spiraling. Isolated, fascinated with history, and increasingly withdrawn, he had developed an unhealthy obsession with terrorism, particularly Osama bin Laden. In the aftermath of 9/11, while most were afraid, Charles seemed captivated. On January 5, 2002, Charles arrived at St. Petersburg Clearwater International Airport for what appeared to be a routine training session. But there was no instructor, no permission. He simply got into a Cessna 172, started the engine, and took off, completely alone. Air traffic control immediately attempted to contact him. No response. He flew 30 miles southeast, directly toward downtown Tampa. Then, without any warning, he crashed the plane into the 28th floor of the Bank of America Plaza, the tallest building in the city. The building shook, glass shattered, but by some miracle, no one else was injured. Only Charles died in the crash. At first, people feared another terrorist attack. But there was no group involved. No weapons. No passengers. Just a 15-year-old with a pilot logbook. And a suicide note. In it, he praised Osama bin Laden and called for a new world order. He also expressed frustration and hopelessness, a chilling insight into a troubled mind. A toxicology report found traces of Accutane, an acne medication with known psychological side effects. Charles's family sued the manufacturer, claiming the drug may have contributed to his mental state. The lawsuit was ultimately dismissed, but it raised serious questions. Should a teenager have had that kind of access to an aircraft? How was this even possible, just months after the worst aviation disaster in U.S. history? The FAA faced criticism. Flight school procedures were overhauled. But the story quietly faded from the news cycle. Charles Bishop's crash didn't spark a war or take dozens of lives. But it exposed something terrifying. That even with all our systems, surveillance, and security, sometimes, all it takes is one kid with a key. And that's what makes it even more terrifying. This wasn't terrorism. It was something scarier. It was forgotten. There are more stories like this, ones the world buried. Keep watching Smear. The truth is rarely clean.